In this video, we are going to learn about inequalities. We're going to have a brief introduction of inequalities. And the first thing we're going to talk about, what is an inequality? So an inequality is the comparison of two mathematical statements. And we've done this, mathematical statements, with equations. Where we were comparing both sides. And in that case, we had an equal sign. And we were saying that both sides were equal. We were comparing there as well. But here, it's when they're not necessarily equal. So our first symbol is the greater than sign. And that would be like saying 8 is greater than 5. Then we would have a less than sign. And that would be like saying 5 is less than 8. And then these two we have probably seen before, but the next two we might not have seen before because it wouldn't be just comparing numbers. It would be having to compare it with a variable as well. So our first one is greater than or equal to. And the next one would be less than or equal to. So that gives us two conditions, less than or the number could be equal to. So the first question we're going to do is we're going to make our situation into an inequality. So skydivers jump from an altitude of 14,500 feet or less. So 14,500 feet or less. Write an inequality to represent this situation. So let's think. Can the skydivers jump from 14,500 feet exactly? Are they allowed to jump from that? And yes, because it does say 14,500 feet. Yes. Or less than that. So 14,000 is okay. 500 is okay. 1 foot is okay. But when we go above it, so like 15,000 feet, that is not okay. Okay? So all of the possibilities represented by x, so x has to be less than or equal to 14,500. Now, our next question says Samantha must be at least 70 inches tall to ride the roller coaster. So that means at least is the minimum. So 70 is the smallest it could be. Samantha could be 71 inches, 72 inches, even like 70.1. Just over 70, that's okay. But 69 is not okay. So Samantha's height, x, whatever it might be, must be bigger than 70. And when it says at least, it's also including the 70 as well. So we want to draw the line underneath to indicate that she can be 70 as well. She could be 70, she could be anything higher. Okay. In example, so when we are graphing our inequalities, I'm going to jot down a couple things. So we have our greater than sign or our less than sign. And that is going to indicate we'll have an open circle because that does not include the number at hand. If we have a greater than or equal to sign or a less than or equal to sign, that is going to give us a closed circle on our graph. Okay? And then looking at just the whether it's greater than or less than, if it's greater than or equal to, our line is going to go to the right. And if it's less than or equal to, our arrow is going to go to the left. So, for example, if I have x is greater than 3, we're talking about all the numbers bigger than 3. So 3, 4, 5, but not 3. So 3 is not greater than 3. So not quite 3. So open circle because it's just greater than. And since it's greater than, it goes to the right. and then 2, 1. If I had x is greater than or equal to 3, the only difference here would be that it includes the 3 as well, because it's 3 greater than or equal to 3, and that is yes. Hold on, I just wrote the wrong number. 2, 1. So we would have a closed circle on 3, and since it's greater than, this side is greater than. 4 is greater than, 5 is greater than. So that is the way to go. So Penny rides the scooter more than 2 miles. Write and graph the inequality. So she went more than 2 miles. She went not 2, so 2 doesn't count, but maybe 2.1, 2.2 miles, 3 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, who knows, ... So all of the possibilities must be bigger than 2. And if I graph this one, our standard here, whenever we graph, is we want 5 numbers. That's my standard, just so we know we have enough. We have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 1, and we have 0. So x is greater than 2 means all the ones bigger than 2 and not including 2, so an open circle at 2 going to the right.